Morning, Sindhu. Morning, Gautam and Bella. All right, let's get started. It's today, Tuesday. All right. Or 10 on the fully enlightened one. Homage to the sublime one, the worthy one, the fully enlightened one. Homage to the sublime one, the worthy one, the fully enlightened one. I go to the Buddha for refuge. I go to the Dhamma for refuge. I go to the Sangha for refuge. A second time I go to the Buddha for refuge. A second time I go to the Dhamma for refuge. A second time I go to the Sangha for refuge. A third time I go to the Buddha for refuge. A third time I go to the Dhamma for refuge. A third time I go to the Sangha for refuge. The 3 refuges are complete. I undertake the training rule to abstain from taking life. I undertake the training rule to abstain from taking what is not given. I undertake the training rule to abstain from sexual misconduct. I undertake the training rule to abstain from false speech. I undertake the training rule to abstain from intoxicating drinks and drugs causing heedlessness. Having well undertaken and kept the 5 precepts together with the 3 refuges, one should strive on with diligence. With morality, good rebirth is gained. With morality, wealth is achieved. With morality, perfect peace is attained. Therefore, morality should be purified. Page 24. Welcome, Briar Rose. Good to see you. Homage to the Sublime One, the Worthy One, the Fully Enlightened One. Homage to the Sublime One, the Worthy One, the Fully Enlightened One. Homage to the Sublime One, the Worthy One, the Fully Enlightened One. Such indeed is the Sublime One, worthy, perfectly enlightened, perfect in true knowledge and conduct, well gone, knower of the world, supreme trainer of persons to be tamed, teacher of gods and humans, enlightened and exalted. Well expounded is the Dhamma by the Sublime One, directly visible, unaffected by time, calling one to come and see, leading onwards to be realized by the wise. The order of the Sublime One's disciples is practicing well. The order of the Sublime One's disciples is of upright conduct. The order of the Sublime One's disciples has entered the right path. The order of the Sublime One's disciples is practicing correctly. That is, the 4 pairs of persons, the 8 kinds of individuals. This order of the Sublime One's disciples is worthy of offerings and hospitality, worthy of gifts and salutation, supreme field of merit for the world. The Buddha, well purified with ocean-like compassion, possessed of the eye of knowledge, completely purified, destroyer of the evils and corruption of the world, I revere that Buddha with devotion. Homage to you, so nobly bred, homage to you amongst men supreme. Peerless are you in all the world, may all homage be given to you. The teacher's Dhamma, like a lamp, divided into path, fruition, and the deathless, both itself transcendent and showing the way to that goal, I revere that Dhamma with devotion. Thoroughly understanding the Dhamma and freed from longing through insight, the wise one who is rid of all desire is calm as a pool unstirred by wind. Those to whom the Dhamma is clear are not led into other doctrines. Perfectly enlightened with perfect knowledge, they walk evenly over the uneven. Of all the medicines in the world, manifold and various, there is none like the medicine of Dhamma. Therefore our monks drink of this. Having drunk this Dhamma medicine, you will be ageless and beyond death. Having developed and seen the truth, you will be quenched, free from craving. The Sangha called the field better than the best, who have seen peace, awakening after the Buddha's good way, who have abandoned attachment, the noble ones, the wise. I revere that Sangha with devotion. Happy is the arising of the Buddhas. Happy is the teaching of the true Dhamma. Happy is the unity of the Sangha. Happy is the discipline of the united ones. They go to many a refuge, those who have been struck by fear. They go to the mountains and forests, to parks and trees and shrines. But none of these is a secure refuge. None is the refuge supreme. Not by relying on such a refuge can one be freed from all suffering. But one who has gone for refuge to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha sees with perfect wisdom the 4 noble truths: suffering, the arising of suffering, the transcending of suffering, and the Noble Eightfold Path that leads to suffering's final end. This is the refuge that is secure. This is the refuge that is supreme. By relying on such a refuge as this, one is released from all suffering. By this practice of Dhamma in accord with the Dhamma, I respect the Buddha. By this practice of Dhamma in accord with the Dhamma, I respect the Dhamma. By this practice of Dhamma in accord with the Dhamma, I respect the Sangha. All actions are led by the mind. Mind is their master, mind is their maker. Actors speak with a defiled state of mind, and suffering follows as the cartwheel follows the foot of the ox. All actions are led by mind is their master, mind is their maker. Actors speak with a pure state of mind, then happiness follows, as your shadow follows you without departing. Impermanent are all conditioned things, affected by rising and falling away. Having arisen, they then must cease. Blissful is it when they subside. Abstaining from all evil, doing what is good, cleansing one's mind. This is the teaching of all the Buddhas. Patience is the highest practice. Nibbana is supreme, say the Buddhas. A mendicant does not harm others. A recluse oppresses no one. Not insulting, not harming, restrained according to the moral code, moderating in food, dwelling in solitude, engaging in higher mental development. This is the teaching of all the Buddhas. By the blessings that have arisen from my practice, may my venerable preceptors and teachers who have helped me, mother, father, and relatives, male and female rulers, worldly powers, the virtuous human beings, the higher beings, demons, and high gods, the guardian deities of the world, celestial beings, Lord of Death, friendly people, indifferent and hostile. May all beings be well. May the skillful deeds done by me bring you threefold bliss. May this quickly bring you to the deathless. By means of this meritorious deed and through this aspiration, may I quickly attain the cutting off of craving and clinging. Whatever faults I have until I am liberated, may they quickly perish. Wherever I am born, may there be an upright mind. Mindfulness and vigor, mindfulness and wisdom, austerity and vigor. May no harmful influences weaken my efforts. The Buddha is the unsurpassed protector. Dhamma is the supreme protection. Peerless is the silent Buddha. The Sangha is my true refuge. By the power of these exalted ones, may I rise above all defilements. By the means of this meritorious deed and through this aspiration, may I quickly attain, may I never join with the foolish, may I join always with the wise until the time I attain Nibbana. May the suffering be free from suffering, may the fear-struck be free from fear, may the grieving be free from grief. So too may all beings be, from the highest realm of existence to the lowest. May all beings arisen in these realms, with form and without form, with perception and without perception, be released from all suffering and attain to perfect peace. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Welcome Audrey and John, and anyone else who has joined us. If you're new, you can find the link to the chanting book in the description. Going through our secondary chanting through the Mahasatipatthana Sutta. Let's see where we're at here. All right, so we are on page 189. Rupa sanya loke piya rupang sata rupang ete satanha upajjamana upajjati etta nivisamana nivisati saddha sanya loke piya rupang sata rupang ete satanha upajjamana upajjati etta nivisamana nivisati gandha sanya loke piya rupang sata rupang ete sa tanha upajjamana upajjati yatta nivisamana nivisati rasasanya loke piya rupang sata rupang ete sa tanha upajjamana upajjati etta nivisamana nivisati pottabba sanya loke piya rupang sata rupang ete sa tanha upajjamana upajjati etta nivisamana nivisati Dhammas anya loke piya rupang sata rupang ette sa tanha upajjamana upajjati etta nivisamana nivisati Rupa sancetana loke piya rupang sata rupang ette sa tanha upajjamana upajjati etta nivisamana nivisati Saddha sancetana loke piya rupang sata rupang ette sa tanha upajjamana upajjati etta nivisamana nivisati gandha sancetana loke piya rupang sata rupang ette sa tanha upajjamana upajjati yatta nivisamana nivisati Rasa sancetana loke piya rupang sata rupang ette sa tanha upajjamana upajjati etta nivisamana nivisati pottabba sancetana loke piya rupang sata rupang ette sa tanha upajjamana upajjati etta nivisamana nivisati dhamma sancetana loke piya rupang sata rupang ette sa tanha upajjamana upajjati yatta nivisamana nivisati Perception of forms has a pleasant and agreeable nature in the world. It is here that this craving arises when it arises. It is here that it settles when it settles down. Perception of sounds has a pleasant and agreeable nature in the world. It is here that this craving arises when it arises. It is here that it settles when it settles down. Perception of odors has a pleasant and agreeable nature in the world. It is here that this craving arises when it arises. It is here that it settles when it settles down. Perception of taste has a pleasant and agreeable nature in the world. It is here that this craving arises when it arises. It is here that it settles when it settles down. Perception of tactile objects has a pleasant and agreeable nature in the world. It is here that this craving arises when it arises. It is here that it settles when it settles down. Perception of mental phenomena has a pleasant and agreeable nature in the world. It is here that this craving arises when it arises. It is here that it settles when it settles down. Volition regarding forms has a pleasant and agreeable nature in the world. It is here that this craving arises when it arises. It is here that it settles when it settles down. Volition regarding sounds has a pleasant and agreeable nature in the world. It is here that this craving arises when it arises. It is here that it settles when it settles down. Volition regarding odors has a pleasant and agreeable nature in the world. It is here that this craving arises when it arises. It is here that it settles when it settles down. Volition regarding tastes has a pleasant and agreeable nature in the world. It is here that this craving arises when it arises. It is here that it settles when it settles down. Volition regarding tactile objects has a pleasant and agreeable nature in the world. It is here that this craving arises when it arises. It is here that it settles when it settles down. Volition regarding mental phenomena has a pleasant and agreeable nature in the world. It is here that this craving arises when it arises. It is here that it settles when it settles down. All right, going to our thought of the day. Continuing through Ariyo Itangiko Maggo. Middle of the page, fourth verses down, under Samma Sati. Dhammesu Dhammanupassi Viharati Yatapi Sampajano Satima Vinaya Loke Abhijado Manasam. One dwells contemplating phenomena in phenomena, or principles in principles is a newer translation. Ardent, clearly comprehending, mindful, having subdued longing and grief for the world. Morning, friends. So we have for today, reflection, contemplating Dhammas. Now this word, Dhamma, we understand to be the teaching and the principles, but it also is nature, and it also can be phenomena as translated here. But I think principles is the best way to understand this, is because when you look at what's under, in Satipatthana, what's under section, you have the various ways that the Buddha has us to investigate our experience. The 5 aggregates, the 5 hindrances, the 6 senses, the 7 factors of awakening, the 4 noble truths. These are all under this section of Dhammanupassana, right? Investigating Dhammas. Investigating our experience through our 6 senses, right? This is what we've been just going through here. It's like the volition regarding volition regarding odors, volition regarding sights, our intentions regarding the experience of these things. This is important for us to understand, to investigate. Samasati, we've investigated our body. We've investigated our feeling, our sensation, Vedana. Kaya, Vedana. We've investigated the mind, Chitta. Now we investigate Dhammas. So all of these 4 places, are fertile fields for the development of insight when investigated with mindfulness. Investigating our 5 aggregates that we hold on to and we create, instead of the khandas, Pancha Khanda, 5 aggregates, we create Pancha Upadana Khanda, the grasping aggregates. Because we hold on to them, we grasp to them, and then we create a me, myself out of them. Right? To investigate that, to investigate the experiences of our senses. Where does craving arise? Where does it cease? What does it feel like to have a pleasant experience? What does it feel like to have an unpleasant experience, etc.? In the mind here is really, well, actually would be mind and body, the whole thing. Now, what is the experience of having an unpleasant experience? What is the experience of having a pleasant experience? And as I've been saying, there is no experience that you cannot apply. You cannot place your investigation, place your mindfulness in these aspects and learn something. There's no such experience that you can't learn something by applying these tools. There's much to investigate, way more than just this one life can show. Much to investigate, much to understand. To really understand and investigate phenomena of our experience very deeply. To know them very deeply. It's an ongoing job. Even if you've been doing 16, 17 years, it's still ongoing. Until you become awakened, you're still investigating, still watching, still applying mindfulness to develop your insight. And so friends, with that, we end the Samma Sati section, and tomorrow we'll get started with the Samma Samadhi section. And so with that, I wish you a very spiritually successful and peaceful day. Sukhi Hotu, may you be happy. Practice well and be well.